Welcome back to this deciding game in the series between Vitality and H2K. And as we get ready for Game 5, I want to take a look at some of the most important parts of the series so far and what we need to look at in the game coming up. Now, Baron control has been one of the most important things for us to look at, and we have to keep track of it in Game 5 because both Vitality and H2K have shown us they don't really know what they're doing when it comes to playing around a Baron. You can see here in a 4v5, Shook says, oh, we can take it, we can take the buff. And then Vitality are able to collapse on him. But so often in these games, both Vitality and H2K have not been willing to make the split-second decision that they need to if they're going to secure the Baron. Alongside that, we have to look at the rookie AD carries. Sheriff on one side and Mini Trupax on the other. Because Sheriff really stepped up in some of the games, but sometimes H2K aren't able to get him to that late game portion that they need him to be at if he's going to carry. He's so good when he gets ahead and when he gets the lead, and that late game positioning is paramount for him. Mini Trupax, on the other hand, is so much more about consistent play and consistent laning. If the team plays towards him, he can be instrumental, but most of the time it's about him just being able to put damage out in team fights and then allowing the rest of the team to work around him. So make sure you keep track on these AD carries throughout the game to come, because 4 games have gone and passed, and now only one nexus stands between either Vitality or H2K and Glory. This is their moment. This is the time you stand and be counted. This is it. We're going to get into Champion Select. Dracos, take it away.
Thank you very much, Medic. You're right. This is the time for both of these teams to step up to show one last fantastic performance, to prove themselves worthy of the semifinals, worthy of a guaranteed spot in Copenhagen, whether it's in the third place match or finals, we have yet to see. And things are going to be tough for both of these teams.
If you win here, you will play Fnatic in the semifinal. We already know G2 versus Splice is going to be the other one, but between these two teams now, Vitality back on red side. That's where they normally win their games. They don't have to go for a late game comp. They tried last game. They lost in 22 minutes. A lot of respect and credit to H2K for bouncing back and winning so easily. Once again, it is the Azir ban from H2K and Xayah from Vitality. Now, will Galio be banned? I don't know if they have to. Last time they tried to set up a trade where it was Caitlyn versus Ryze. H2K took the Ryze. I don't think they do that again. I think that Caitlyn has proven to be so important for when it comes to winning that bottom lane. And no Galio ban just yet, and I like the Ryze ban. Don't opt into that trade. Might be a Caitlyn ban here for Vitality because of the Ryze.
Do H2K then just immediately pick the Galio? What is the option going to be?
Don't think they have to. Vitality have not shown us Galio mid lane. It does not seem like a champion they want to play for G2K. I don't think you have to grab it early. There's the Caitlyn. You could go for preferred jungle choice. We've seen Gilius take Sejuani multiple times. Sion and Tahm Kench are also here. 2 of the most contested picks in the series. No, Vitality likes to play it, but when they grabbed it last game, they got completely counterpicked bot lane, and it was bad.
Just did not work for them. Tahm Kench will be the pickup for H2K.
No Kate Morgana to counter it.
Not going to be an option in Deficio. It's not just H2K that have been reliant on red side to win, or not reliant, but rather successful on red side. Actually see in patch 8.5, 77.8% win rate for red side overall. Europe seems to favor it immensely, as it's only 46.7 in North America. You can see the power of those counter picks in this meta, and the flex pick Sion is coming in. Vitality more than comfortable trying to make use of it.
And then classic Europe here, focusing on Tristana when Xayah, Caitlyn are gone. Varus is not a contested pick for a lot of teams. When we look over at Sheriff, we know there's multiple late game carries he can play. He's already shown us the Jinx. We've seen the Vayne all the way back in the start of the split. We've seen a ton of focus on getting him into late game team fights. And with this Tahm Kench already locked in, you know H2K can try and grab a hyper carry and still survive the laning phase. No surprise that Shook grabs a Zac.
Jhin has also been the other pick that they've gone towards. Do they want to give it a more utility role? Looks like instead Selfie may be the one forced to blind pick in this scenario, wanting to save as much as possible.
Ooh, interesting. Something we have to see actually if it gets locked in. It is going to be the Ornn. It's a champion that not a lot of top laners still want to use, but after already seeing the Sion, they feel like they want to grab it early. I want to see what kind of combos they want to do with it. Long range engage plus, of course, the Zac. And one thing we did learn on the Euphoria podcast with Source and Odamne on the Dog Champ tier list, Ornn is actually considered least, or the least doggy, whatever.
The least dog champ. So the most carry potential for individual
can actually
tank
kill
top
people
laners.
in lane. That's what I'm trying to say.
Is Smitty J going to take Ignite? This question will be answered as we get closer, but for now we enter second ban phase. Gilius, no Sejuani for him this time, will not get the opportunity to play. And of course, Trundle's still up and available against triple tank team, essentially, at this point. Maybe a good option for them overall. And Nivea also taken off. They don't want that interrupting the Sion play if they do manage to find the picks.
See for Vitality, last picking. For your mid laner, it's the smart choice when you know that you can flex the Sion, and could try and draft a carry for Capo Shot against this Ornn top lane, and then put Sion mid for H2K. It is an option. Of course, they can just grab jungler in the first one. I like the Jinx ban. We talked about it, one of the hyper carries we have seen from H2K.
Cassio gone. I think it's snap pick Trundle. I think it's risen in popularity. It's good against the 3 tankier members of this composition. It can interrupt Zac leap in.
Other tank jungle options for Gilius, Gragas is used in some regions. Can also be picked here for him, but you have to see the carry is also there, and you might get your Trundle. Now, the engage on Vitality is basically Sion at the moment. I want to see if Kog'Maw becomes one of the options for Sheriff. There is enough tanks to kill. He does have the Tahm Kench to protect him early on, and you are fantastic on 1 item. Tristana needs 3. I think it is something to consider at least.
What are they going to go for? Debating between the Jhin and the Ashe. Ashe looks like it will be the choice.
Not the pick I expected to see here from the H2K. Of course, if you do protect it well in team fights, yes, there is a chance for Ashe to become a strong carry, but I thought we were going to get something that was focused purely on Sheriff just dealing a ton of damage and not actually utility on his side. Orianna is a normal blind pick choice here for Selfie.
Sheriff's first Ashe locked in as well, and it looks like Selfie has been so good on the Cassid in the past, but now he's blind picking it. H2K, what do you have up your sleeve to answer this pick? Clearly Selfie's strongest at this point.
Sion mid with Banner to push into Kassadin. Otherwise, just put Sion top and have something else left to counter with. Normally, we actually see Kassadin against Taliyah specifically. That being said, Taliyah still gets to push and can be active early on. And looks like H2K is so confident in his Taliyah, he grabs it despite already seeing the Kassadin.
So surprising to see, Deficio.
Definitely a lot of surprises in this Game 5 draft. Ashe for Sheriff. Not an insane hyper carry. Blind pick, Kassadin for Selfie. And an Ornn kind of showing up out of nowhere. It feels like a lot of top laners don't really go towards him. Cho'Gath was available. It could have grabbed that one instead.
Not wanting to go for it, not wanting that ability to leap into the backside. Of course, Ornn with some very long-range, safe engage options. Maybe that's what they're looking to play around.
Yeah, exactly. Like, there's a lot of engage on H2K's side with the Zac already there, with the Ashe arrow from Sheriff, and of course a bunch of pick damage and single target burst coming in from a Kassadin, but this is a very unique draft they're showing us in Game 5, where Vitality are kind of sticking to a lot of what's been working for them. Top lane Sion, the Trundle was fantastic in Game 1 from Gilius, and of course this Taliyah for H2K. It's been a huge pick for him. He doesn't care about the Kassadin. He knows that he can carry the early game, and he's going to try and do it again.
Can he do it up against H2K? H2K, so much confidence, has the potential to snowball these other lanes. We've seen Vitality play around it so well. We've seen Selfie utterly shut down by this Trundle jungle in Game 1. Now it rears its head once again in Game 5. Both teams gearing up. Everything on the line for both of these lineups. Ladies and gentlemen, let's get ready. Game 5, H2K versus Vitality. A spot versus Fnatic on the line. A spot in Copenhagen. Guaranteed with a win here.
And this Vitality organization only made playoff once before this. They instantly lost in the quarterfinal, and that was it. They pick up this new lineup, bunch of rookies, bring in Gilius to try and lead the rookies, and they make playoffs again. They were competing for the top spots the entire regular season. It'll be a huge win for the organization and the players if they can make a semifinal. Of course, for H2K, a lineup that was 1-7. Basically done. Out.
Nobody expected the turn to Fischio, but
Nobody
didn't make it
expected
happen.
When Kadril was the jungler for a moment, it seemed like everything was lost for H2K, and they were running out of options, answers. But then they bring in Shook to kind of change everything around. Together with Selfie, Sheriff becomes a big late game carry, and now they can actually make the semifinal.
Looks like we might see an early invade coming in from Vitality. Selfie walks by, not going to see anything. Not clear if Vitality see them. Pings do come out. They spot Selfie. Now moving into the jungle, trying to get knowledge of where Zach is pathing early. Sheriff is here. They're going to take a bit of damage. They're going to start on Zach's red. We saw the Zach shut down in the previous game.
Yeah.
Some early farm by the Sejuani. Looks like Gillies wants to rinse and repeat on that one.
And it's actually pretty tricky for Zach to go to enemy red now, because mid lane is going to get perma-pushed by H2K. I don't think Shook can do it. He would risk dying. Gilius gets to steal away more camps. This is a great level 1 from Vitality, knowing they have mid lane control, knowing that Gilius' early duel power on a Trundle is very, very good. It's being pinged by H2K and Vitality.
Yeah, they get the early vision down as well. The
anything.
whole team is coming together to shut down Shook in the early game. They're not going to let him make any plays with the vision that they have.
And early invades from Gilius continue. Him trying to shut down Shook is working very well. In the start, Gilius takes away 2 camps, leaves 1 small raptor. Now we can also get the early Rift Scuttle on bottom side and trying to stop Sheriff and Promiscu from pushing. Shook is moving in. He's spotted on a ward, so Vitality, they know he's going for this. Gilius might look for a gank instead.
Vision is there. Trying to move forward, has the pillar up and available. Is going to connect. There's Bite, but no follow-ups. Means Shook going to try to fire back, but H2K now moving up.
Yeah, this is why it's so risky for Shook, because he knows the mid lane is being pushed against him. H2K takes the long route around. Shook might try and get it down in time with the smite. Finds him now.
Could be in trouble. He's going to try to knock it back. Shook going to get it. Good damage now onto H2K. Double buff means this is going to be a tough spot for Talia. Can't try to get the blast cone to get this out. He can't connect the stretching strikes to the blast cone. Not going to get it. H2K playing on the edge there. Ornn available to follow up. H2K actually coming out on top in that trade.
Shook gets the red buff. Important. Gilius could have gone his own enemy red buff Raptor into his own red buff and denied any potential for Shook to invade. But he went for blue. He looked for the bottom side, and then Shook found his way in. Vitality were hoping it was maybe enough using just Talia to stop him, but that actually ended up not working. So this was a big thing for H2K. Could have looked really bad for Shook in the early game.
4 stacks goes in. Unbreakable to stop any follow-up. Promise you to spit Sheriff right back out, but clearly Vitality still playing with a lot of confidence despite their loss.
And not only Dragons did Shook get the red buff. Selfie just got a full free wave in mid because H2K was walking up to red buff, had to then take a fight against the Zac, had to recall. So this Kassadin that normally gets pushed in 24/7 just got a bunch of free CS and experience. This ended up costing Vitality a lot more than should have. They had all the control. Take enemy red, take your own red. Shook can't invade. But because they went bottom side with Gilius right there, they could not stop the Zac.
And of course, H2K doesn't even get the tier back. Has to go back so early that he doesn't have the gold for it. Difficult spot to be in. Smitty J and Cabo continue to trade blows. No Ocean this time, though, so neither one will get the advantage from the Drakes. But Infernal will prove to be very important for both of these lineups. We expect it to be heavily contested when the teams feel ready.
Sheriff, of course, picking the Ashe because he really likes the early laning phase with it. So good at trading. Tahm Kench also adds a lot there. Good lane for H2K. And they can try and use the Tahm Kench to save the AD carry if H2K ults towards the bottom side. Jack
wants to keep it going. Just trying to threaten, trying to pressure off.
Selfie now, swap to TP. Very early, can use it back to lane if he wants. Or he can save it and have it ready in case Vitality try and make a play bot side. And he is currently saving it.
Infernal Drake for Vitality. Looks like it will be uncontested. No vision there.
Just like we saw in game 1 when Gilius played the Trundle. He gets the control, he gets the early Drake. And once again, when Vitality get early control, it is Infernal Drake spawning. Very good for them. But we can see on the side of H2K, they're very confident in the scaling on the Kassadin. So they want to just want to protect. They just want to make sure that H2K cannot snowball any lane. And then they know Selfie can become the big carry.
And that's a lot of pressure on Selfie's shoulders. He's had a pretty turbulent career, you know, has never been really at the top. but having the team put everything on him in a Game 5, if he can carry this, that will be massive for this player.
Yeah, and I think it's fair to say that he's been a bit of an unsung hero when it comes to H2K. We always talk about the Shook effect and then Sheriff being the big carry, but Selfie has been one of the most consistent mid laners we've seen in the EU LCS, and then in late game fights, he's been very clutch. He's actually been able to land multiple of the big Orianna shockwaves that could win the fight for them, or on Kassadin, he's been able to dance in and out of fights and execute the correct squishy targets. So I understand H2K saying, well, you know what, we trust in him being the biggest carry, even though it's surprising to see Sheriff on an Ashe and not a hyper carry in that Game 5, but it shows the trust in their mid laner from H2K.
And of course, Selfie with the actual XP advantage in the lane means he gets level 6 first, and now H2K has to play scared. Gilius is here, hoping to bait the all-in, not going to find it though. Selfie plays back, he knows he just has to wait.
It hurts H2K so much that he had to go into that red buff. Found Shook, lost a 1v1, and gave Selfie a very free lane. Invade onto the blue buff. Small win here for Vitality when they grab it. Gilius seems to get it. H2K continue to scale with the Kassadin.
Just difficult for H2K, not going to have the early kill pressure that he wants to get. Not going to be able to roam too comfortably either. Selfie with the Catalyst will be at least able to match a little bit, although H2K will get priority to roam to top lane. Ulti has been used by Cabo.
This might be a tower dive. Vitality turning it, saying we don't want to gank the Tahm Kench, we want to gank the very low HP tank.
Trundle on the way in. Ulti used from the Trundle. It's going to make it tough for Smitty J, trying to get in for a little bit more, but First Blood comes down and he burns the flash. It's a big advantage for Vitality. Selfie also using the TP, exactly what Vitality wanted in that exchange.
Oh, right there. Smitty J saw a chance to flash when it came to the last amount of damage hitting him, so he could stay alive for a little bit longer and then buy time for Selfie to show up and make sure he could get a kill or two. Sadly for Smitty J, he was so low, he still got hit, took the damage and ended up dying and then using flash for effectively nothing. Selfie is up here, Cubshot trying to bait maybe.
Not going to be able to get anything, Selfie. Just going to try to push out at least a little bit.
That's suddenly a bigger win for Vitality than it was supposed to be. This could have just been one kill and then back away, but they get TP plus another flash. They turn towards top side. Smitty J takes a bad trade against Cabo. He's now dropped low. And then look at the play when a TP comes in. They're trying to use the Arnold, buy time, get rid of the minion wave as much as possible. And I think the flash he goes for here is hoping if he stays alive for at least another second and gets one more hit on Cabo, Selfie shows up and gets a kill for himself. It's a 1-for-1. But because that hit from Gilly is still connected, Smitty J just dies for nothing.
Not going to get it, not the end of the world, but definitely not how they wanted to start the matchup. You can see a slight advantage now over to the Scion, as he is able to get the Negatron Cloak compared to the Null Magic Mantle. Gilly is going to not only take the blue away from H2K, but also be able to donate his blue buff over to H2K in the mid lane, trying to keep that push going. It does get harder as we get later into the game. Kassadin not even completing a first item. Doesn't mean he can keep up for now.
I think to note is the fact that H2K is not running Cleanse. There's an Ashe on the side of H2K. Late game could be a big one.
Trundle's here though. Going to try to lock him down. Is going to not be disabled, but will pull Gilius back, but that's not quite what they wanted. They do manage to spot the passive. Selfie taking a lot of damage from Gilius. The Trundle is very strong. They want to take him down before he comes back up. Shook so low! Hey, he's going to get it with the auto, so H2K.
Oh, this is where Trundle shines. If you jump right into him, he's going to win these trades every single time. H2K now with 2 mistakes that is getting super punished by Vitality. Summoners are gone, kills going over to Vitality. They're trying to defend with the Tahm Kench. That's another big cooldown now.
But you've now left bot lane all alone. Ornn might have to TP down just to save it.
A lot more is happening in this game than H2K were actually hoping for, and they opted into that play in mid. Gilius, he was right there. Took the fight, won it. Sheriff airing towards H2K, no cleanse.
Arrow. Gotcha. A little awkward for Gilius. We'll just continue to clear the jungle though, mostly unscathed. Only 200 damage at level 1 from the Ashe.
So let's see again. They don't know Gilius is around, and the moment Shook jumps in, he wants to get back because the damage from Trundle very, very high at this point in the game, and that's a big loss for H2K and a big win for Vitality here, getting the kill plus the Summoners.
Now as we check in, back on the game, you can see a small gold lead for Vitality as well as the Infernal Drake, but that's not the biggest issue. Kassadin, of course, the terrifying point we're always going to have to keep our eye at. Doesn't have the Rod of Ages yet, just now manages to complete it along with the magical footwear.
And one of the players with early kills from Vitality is H2K. On the Talia. Doesn't care about this Kassadin pick whatsoever. Might look to go top again because it is hard against the Tahm Kench. We've already seen Vitality execute that once. No flash on smittyj's side.
Now the double control ward setup is back for Vitality. They love controlling these two brushes. Lets them set up perfectly to roam to the bottom side of the map.
So I have to remember this turret is very low mid. Vitality can just move mid now, take it down with Tristana, and boom, you get another advantage.
H2K taking a bad trade, more worried about the minion wave, however.
Promise Q no ulti yet, he's used it before. All of Vitality here, they're just going to execute on it. Selfie have to back away.
Forcing the Elastic Slingshot out, that means Shook can't really come into this one. High set on the tower instead, Vitality keeping the momentum up in their favor. Quest completes as well, nice to have. Jack Troll going to be able to lay down extra vision, they get extra gold. Vitality getting the early game they wanted.
Yeah, good move here, facilitated by the fact that Shook opted in for that gank before and got punished by Gilius. Another win for the Vitality team. We're back to the classic style of Vitality winning early.
Ooh, arrow going wide, not what they wanted. Of course, Jack Troll was there, however, so they may not have been able to follow up.
Gillis is around mid again, hoping maybe that Shook jumps in, like we saw before. Now he will up towards the top left. Remember, this potential play against smittyj is an option.
And look, they're just going to set up for the blue buff, but Vitality have absolute control of this jungle, brought about by just the raw power of the trundle pick. So good against these tankier options.
Right towards the top lane, poor smittyj.
Ulti going to connect, smittyj now in trouble. Try to bring it back, locks Gilius up, but Gilius not under tower. It's actually H2K who can make it, take it down. One. Not going to be able to make it back, just the 1-for-1. No assist for the Kassadin, but well played by smittyj.
smittyj gets something here. Could explain one of the reasons for this Ornn pick is it's a little bit better at defending itself, especially with that massive ulti. Knowing that there's a high chance he's going to be the target in the early game. He dies for a second time, but this time he at least got a kill in return. I think H2K would have loved it to go over to Kassadin, but you can't get everything. Shook gets the Mountain Drake on bottom side, a cross-map setup. They don't get the bot lane turret, but at least they get to push in again with Sheriff. This is the exact same setup as before, but this time smittyj is not as low. And there's no minion wave when Vitality walks in, so they end up tanking the turret the entire time. That's a great ulti from smittyj. Good use of the Braum. I mean the Ornn. Braum, Ornn, almost the same.
Good use of the giant ram thing.
It's my Danish accent.
Yeah,
so I put a B in front of everything.
Born.
The bash.
Ash. Dash. Moving forward. Just got a giggle in my ear from somewhere, not sure where that came from. All right, Deficio. 1-3. 2K gold lead just about for Vitality. More like 1.5 at this stage of the game. Now H2K were able to get the Mountain Drake, not quite what they wanted. Once again, Dragon spawns appear to be heavily in the favor of Vitality in these games. But Mountain, pretty good for them to be able to try to contest these more relevant objectives and siege up some of these towers.
Obviously a problem also for H2K that they lost that mid lane turret. Selfie will get pushed far back, he doesn't have TP, so it's very easy for Vitality to apply pressure both side lanes. Sheriff needs his Tahm Kench to defend him, otherwise he's just gonna die instantly, and Vitality needs to get down all these outer turrets, abuse the fact they have H2K on Talia in mid, and Jack Troll and the rest of Vitality almost getting the bot lane one.
Cast it on the way down. They're ready to take the fight if the opportunity presents itself. Ash has the arrow, but not a whole lot of mana otherwise.
But this time there was no ulti from H2K. It's going to be there next time. So when we see the exact same play, they can actually execute it with Talia. For now, Selfie gets to push out. He's hoping nothing happens for another 3 minutes so that TP can be ready. But I think Vitality should be able to get a bigger gold advantage with a mid lane control they're going to get.
And here comes Gilius trying to play around the bottom side. TP now coming in as well. Sheriff potentially in trouble. Ulti comes out. This is perfect. He's blocked up, but the pillar stops him from going any further. Sheriff trying to flash back, trying to get something back. He's trying to turn the play. Beautiful from the rookie. 80 carry wants to get a little bit more. Selfie is here. That's the double for the Ornn. Now backing off as Vitality look for the disengage, but a beautiful turn from Sheriff.
Oh my god, Promise you and Sheriff, they bought so much time, and then instead of trying to disengage, they spit Sheriff right back in the face of Mini Troopex. Great flash, and suddenly they get it all.
Exactly what they needed in this game. Clutch plays. Selfie coming in just in time. Sheriff, beautiful maneuvers, and smittyj grabbing all the kills.
And what looked like a flash to me was in fact just Tahm Kench spitting Sheriff at the enemy team. Still sitting on that cooldown for himself, and suddenly what actually looked like a Vitality play was a big win for H2K. Dead even in gold in this game here. TP is soon ready for selfie. They could have been punished very hard during that cooldown. H2K still will have a bit of time to do it with Talia. Push mid all the way down to tier 2, then go for the side lane play. Let's see what happens here. Sheriff and Promiscue, they buy time. Good reaction with TP, and Selfie could move first. Oh, it's actually just Mini Trueback shooting back Sheriff. That was knocked him further away. He ends up dancing around. Jackroll misses the ult, and Sheriff wins the fight together with H2K. What was important here was the fact that H2K had walked down to bot lane before this, about a minute before this. They could almost kill the bot lane turret, but not quite. And that actually gave Selfie a ton of time to push out mid. So it's his turn to move first. And the moment this bot lane play happened, Selfie already walked from his lane, and he will get there first. And suddenly H2K, also with the good TP from SmittyJ, wins the fight. They're starting Rift Herald.
Want to get this one, want to keep the ball rolling. Gold not quite evened up. It's clear who has the advantage at this stage of the game. Mini Truebacks coming from the top side. Maybe they want to get a fight for this. Zach going to be able to grab it. Ornn coming in. Body blocked. Arrow is going to connect on the Gilius. H2K could be the one who's in trouble. Shook on the backside, immediately leaping through. Going to pick up the trundle and put him in the middle of everything. Mini Truebacks remains untouched, but he just doesn't have enough damage at this point in the game. Gilius goes down. That's 2 picked up for H2K.
Another good fight here. H2K using the advantage. Looking for more. Promiscue. He's actually behind Mini Truebacks.
Mini Truebacks wants to make it out, flashed over. Blast cone. Good escape path. Wall coming in as well.
H2K is a little bit alone behind the enemy lines here, but there's a Kassadin next to him now. He'll be fine. Everyone gets to back awareness out of H2K. Win bot lane fight. Turn it top lane. Start Rift Herald. Decisive calling. Looking for the engage. The Ornn pick paying off here in these fights. Good ulti bot lane from SmittyJ. Another one coming in here. And Copper Shot and the rest of Vitality lose another fight. And they're now down in gold despite them actually having the advantage before this. Look at the setup. Fight breaks out. SmittyJ starts the ult. Instantly gets spotted by Jackroll, but just the fact he's doing this actually forces Vitality to step in and kind of overextend with their support. So yes, it gets blocked, but it's still an effective tool to start the fight, and that's the most important difference between Ornn and Cho'Gath. Cho'Gath is not able to start fights like this. Ornn, yes, it can get blocked, but the enemy support is then overextended.
You can see H2K with so many engage options just looks good for the team. Of course, as a reminder, following this game, we will be having the post-game lobby breaking down the week's action, looking ahead towards semifinals. That will be on twitch.tv/EULCS. So if you're on Riot Games, you may want to make the switch. If you're on YouTube, you can stay exactly where you're at, and we'll swap.
Your Vitality. You want to swap to the other stream, go back a few minutes, and then replay those few minutes in a completely different way. They had everything going for them. They had advantage in mid, pushing in with the Talia, no TP from the enemy Kassadin, looking to take a bot lane turret that's still alive, but due to very good plays from H2K, both bot lane and then the Rift Herald, we now see H2K with a goal lead. We now see Selfie, 2 assists on his side, got his kill against the Braum in the last one, and now he's getting a top lane turret. We'll lose Infernal for those of Vitality. Okay, Selfie can TP in.
Maybe looking for the backup. Good Braum shield does come in. Gilius trying to run on the way in the middle of everything. SmittyJ could be taken down. Ashero does manage to connect, but it's onto Gilius. That's the shutdown. Selfie in the back lines. Who's going to get the Infernal Drake? Eyes on the prize. Selfie could just get taken out here. Goes over the wall. Mini Truebacks wants a little bit more. Get a Selfie. One more auto. They're going to be able to take him out. Suddenly Vitality are in absolute control. Mini Truebacks is going to get the reset. We'll try to get the double here as the delay on the passive will stop anything else from happening, but it's only 2 members alive. 3 rather. Shook will finally go down.
Shook at the Infernal, but Vitality get the fight. They were starting at S5. They thought it was just going to be a trade. Top lane turret for H2K, Drake for Vitality, but the TP comes in from Selfie, and SmittyJ very quickly found himself in the middle of the team, and Promiscue just couldn't get in time. He tried to flash forward and devour him, but he was too far away. And Vitality win the fight, get a bunch of summoners, get a bot lane turret, big goal lead all of a sudden. They don't care about losing that Infernal when you suddenly get a 3k advantage after it was so close before this fight.
Now just 2k, but it does mean that the Infinity Edge will come through for the Tristana on her back as we look back at this fight. Okay,
TP comes in the Dragon Pit, and SmittyJ now finds himself in the middle of 5 members, and Promiscue is slowed down by the pillar. He can't get in range in time to save SmittyJ, and Selfie ends up taking a ton of damage before he's able to jump out. And yes, Shook can get the Drake, but now he's obviously also going to die in the fight. Let's see if Vitality can use this gold lead to get the big objective, the Baron.
Will it be enough? Baron, of course, the Achilles heels. Heard from Medic. Neither of these teams have played super clean around the objective, but will be crucial. they want to close it out here. The cast continues to scale up, continues to be quite terrifying. But Mini Trupax as well is that late game carry threat.
But this game, it kind of felt like Vitality had everything under control, but then suddenly H2K found ways back in the game. They used them, they executed on it, and then now it felt like H2K were doing everything correct. And then we get this big team fight where Vitality win it. Now we get another one.
Could be the follow-up. Selfie remains untouched. Trying to block the ultimate for Jack Troll, but that means he can't protect himself. Now leaps back to the team, wants to get a little bit more. Shook leaps in. Now going forward, Selfie grabs one. Rather, Mini Trupax going to get it. They try to find the disengage. Cyan ulti comes out, but it is not effective. Both teams backing off. It's the single pick on the side of H2K.
Oh, we get a lot of team fights here. Jack Troll can block that on ult every single time, but whenever he's doing that, he actually stands in the front, and H2K can try and target him. Shook pulls him back. That's a wall coming.
I want to siege the tier 2. They're trying to block off the rest of the team. They have the Tristana. They could just break it down. Both members going to get knocked back, actually. Good unraveled Earth. Shook does leap into the middle of the team, but instantly he's going to get deleted. He has no passive. That's exactly what they want. Mini Trupax could look to go for the reset here. It's just playing safe. It's focusing on clearing the waves. Mini J will make it out, but Shook is dead. Yeah. Baron is alive.
Oh my god, Shook thought he was going to get devoured by Promiscue immediately after jumping in, but that didn't happen. I think he was out of range. Baron now being started. Unnecessary call, and suddenly Vitality gets another chance here to get further ahead in the game.
The back and forth game 5. TP is now coming in. 3k health and getting lower. It is going to get canceled. H2K are going to give it up. That's first Baron of the game going to Vitality.
Just like game 1, the first Baron goes over to Vitality without having to risk any smite steals. They get a fight, which actually gets started by H2K. Shook wanted to jump in, force them away, and then get devoured. That didn't happen, and then he ends up just dying. And 22-minute Baron for Vitality.
Keep your eyes on the unraveled Earth as well. I'm pretty sure he leaps through a lot of these rocks.
So let's see what happens here. Shook jumps in.
Half health.
Promiscue is very far away. Can't get in range of Shook. The flash is already gone. And then Shook just dies. And suddenly, Vitality gets a Baron.
Good patience here. So many games where we would have seen Mini Trupax take a giant risk and leap in, plays safe, plays back, knows the Baron is the objective. And now Mini Trupax trying to hunt down Selfie, and you can see why. That's a 3-item Tristana. Selfie's going to have to give him some respect.
I mean, Vitality have been getting every advantage now to win this game. Their biggest weakness has been the first Baron of the series, or first Baron of the game. It's where they have lost so many. But now by again getting this kind of fight, where it's kind of crazy engage from H2K that's not necessary, Vitality just punished them. Get the Baron, they can get a massive goal lead now. Put H2K so far down that it feels like Vitality simply can't lose the game. They need to get all these outer turrets. They have a super fed Tristana.
And remember, it's all on Selfie, but it's going to be Selfie versus Mini Trupax to carry the game. Now Shook wants to bring it back. Block does come in. Will stop the follow-up there. Vitality on the side. Selfie is going to be in trouble, tries to leap out, but immediately they're getting cut down. This is not what they want. Baron buff is up on Vitality. H2K taking so many risks, and this means another tier 2 will drop, and it could just be the inhibitor.
Vitality, almost 2 minutes left on the Baron buff. Getting a ton of gold on the carries. Again, there's another 1,600 gold on Mini Trupax. He hasn't even spent yet. He is so fed in this game. And that was after H2K actually had to play the bot lane and put them back into it. Now this AD carry has got all the kills. He's getting mid in him. They have only one outer turret left, and that's in the bot lane. And Vitality are getting so much from this early Baron. They couldn't ask for more in this mid game.
This is so good for the team overall.
And now we got to see also for H2K, like mentally, can they keep up? Because they've just jumped into Vitality multiple times and lost every single one of them. Starting at Dragon, then around this mid lane turret, losing a Baron. They're trying again here. But all 5 members suddenly show up and Smitty J dies and they lose the inhib.
And the engages they think they have are just disrupted so consistently by the Braum shield, by the Trundle pillar. H2K do not get to fight on their terms. Right now they are fighting on Vitality's terms, and it's not going well. Mini Trupax stepping up to be the carry. Selfie on the other side is the sole carry. Ash, the utility champion, it's going to be so tough for them to do. As a reminder, twitch.tv/EULCS. Make the swap. Well, we have a brief moment. If you're on YouTube, you're good to go. But for now, Selfie pushing on the side lane, but they will give up the tier 2 here. 8k gold lead.
Within like 5 minutes of play. It was dead even before this, and now we have a huge advantage. Kassadin is still in
Block comes
top
in.
lane.
It's just the slow siege. Sheriff in trouble. Ulti gonna come out. They have to flash back to safety, but Mini Trupax now gets to leap forward aggressively, and suddenly it's the inhibitor in their sight. Selfie is here now, but there's not a lot he can do. 2 inhibitors down for H2K. They've been clutch. They've made so many comebacks this season, but 8K gold deficit, I don't know if they can do it to Fischio.
And we can criticize Vitality's Barons, but when they get the Baron, they're decisive. They know what to do with the Baron. They know how to snowball the game. Rushing down towards mid first, then getting bot lane. 2 inhibs gone. Giant goal lead, already won Infernal. Mini Trupax is so fed in this game now. He becomes the biggest carry on Vitality, and it feels like the next few minutes, they might be able to finish the game completely. If they win one more fight with Super Minions, that's it. Game is over. They're in the semi-final. I thought this was going to be a very long game, super close. But 2 big fights in a row going in favor of Vitality has meant they get a Baron, they get 2 inhibs. That was quick. Very quick.
Just very good play to punish the opposition. And Shook, second time in the series, he's gone for something probably too greedy, taking too many risks. The Baron, the Zac engage there. Falling down now, and Selfie just was not able to follow up. The Caston, the pick that they're trying to rely on, hasn't been able to do what it needs to, as Vitality are just too far ahead at this point in the game. And yes, Talia can't match the Caston scaling, but Tristana damn well can.
And just in a pure 5-on-5, Talia damage is fantastic. If you're just hitting the front line every time, especially with the number, it just sets up Mini Trupax to carry even harder. Double banner coming in for that last inhib.
Ashe the only option to actually clear these out. Too much magic damage. Doing what they can. Tower's going to go down. Shook tries to leap into the middle of the team. Will get locked up. They could take down H2K here. That would be massive. Smitty J going to throw it back. Not going to connect with the ultimate, though, as immediate leap out for Mini Trupax. 1 member down. Sheriff does manage to kill the mid laner, but it might not be enough. Selfie leaps in and he goes down. That could just be it. The reset. Mini Trupax wants to bring it home. The hero for the team. Cabo is here. Gilius in the middle of everything. 3rd inhibitor set to fall. They're trying to back off. Jack Troll body flocking for the team as Sheriff is still untouched and healthy. Now looking for the retreat. They got 3 inhibitors. They don't need anything else, but Smitty J is overstepping. They're looking to punish. The flash back from Gilius. Both sides backing off, but 3 inhibs down in the favor of Vitality.
It looked like a bad fight at first when H2K got hit by the arrow and he dropped. But Mini Trupax, he's the fed carry on the side of Vitality, and by him just staying alive, could actually turn it around. Kill Selfie, get the last inhib, so they don't care about getting a 1-for-1 here. Still a win for Vitality. Go back, spend more gold on your Tristana. Why not almost another 2,000 sitting on his side. Shook goes in, notice the arrow landing onto H2K. He can't get out, no cleanse. So that's a very early kill for H2K. But they can't get properly onto Mini Trupax, and he's just sitting and hitting the front line every single time. A lot of tanks. Sheriff's damage at the moment is not enough for his team, and when Selfie tried to make the play, he just died instantly. No hourglass for him.
And you can see who's carrying. It's Mini Trupax. Gotta give credit to Sheriff. Even on a non-hyper carry pick, he is still doing a lot of damage in these fights, but it has not been enough. Selfie really dropping the ball in terms of expected carry here.
Vitality should be able to secure second Baron. Should be able to go in and go for the last
That's the knockout fight. And the CC, Smitty J could just go down. TP comes in on the backside. They're ready for the Caston to come in, but Selfie just has to retreat immediately. They're going onto him. That might be enough. They take it down. Mini Trupax. Will it be enough? H2K now running, trying to get through for more damage on the team. Sheriff. Oh, Selfie looking for the resets. Goes in. Has to be careful, though. There goes the Zac as well. H2K pulling back. The entire team, you can see veteran face in his hands. He knows what this fight means. A good fight for H2K after such a long game.
That fight was everything for H2K. If they lost here, bam, game is over. You're out of playoffs, but they actually get on to Mini Trupax. They kill him. Delay the Baron for Vitality. There are so many minions pushing into their base. They can go back and kill them without losing the big objective yet. I think Vitality can still start it with Gilius and H2K. But that certainly gets a bit risky because there's 5 members alive from H2K. No TPs on Selfie, but there is one on Smitty J.
Hawkshot available. They start and they immediately pull back. They see the Ashe has vision. 3 items for the Ashe. 4 items.
TP in. They should still be able to get the Baron. If not this time, at least next time around. There we go. TP coming.
Moment of truth. Shook needs to take it all away, but Jack Troll with no ulti either. It's going to be tough to stop this. Tom Kench has brought in Selfie.
Oh my god, they're walking away now. I mean, Trupax is on his way. He's almost here. They still know that there's no Ornn. He's sitting in base. He needs to TP away. But then suddenly the Nexus turrets might fall. Also, Ashe is in base killing minions. Baron being started again. Bit of damage being dealt by the Baron onto Vitality.
Is it all just going to come down to a 50-50? Shook start to back off.
Remember, you can pillar Shook when he tries to get in. If you do it early enough. No flash on the Zac.
Ulti for Jack Troll.
Here we go.
They knock it back. They do manage to get it. Vitality secure the Baron. Backing off. It's It's H2K who gets it in the end, but with Shook dead, 5 members strong, 2 open inhibitors, 1 already down. This could just be the end for Vitality.
They still need to push all the way in and finish these very low Nexus turrets. Everyone from Vitality right there just screamed, kill the Baron, just burn it before Shook gets close enough, and it ends up being H2K securing it. Could have been a big, big moment for H2K, but instead it's Vitality getting second Baron of the game. Giant goal lead. Fed AD carry, looking for one last fight. They can just go down, secure an inhib. Shook is dead for another 10 seconds. H2K cannot fight this.
Moments of truth. Cassidy on the flank.
He spotted, good ward.
Selfie's moment to shine if he can get into the middle of the team. Has to go back over the wall. Could be the slow, steady finish. Inhibitor down, Selfie backing off. Mini true backs though.
Oh, it's a lot of damage.
It's a big crit. Ulti block, stops the engage. Just trying to slow down the game as much as they can on the side of H2K. Mini wave pushing on the top side needs to be answered. 7K gold lead for Vitality. They're tied in Dragons. Need true packs.
And they're so close, man. They just want to win one last fight so they can walk in and kill that Nexus. The entire mid game has been in their favor. Dragon fights, they win it. Mid lane sieges, boom, they kill Shook. Take the first Baron of the game. Don't need to risk a 50-50. You already killed the jungler. That is the biggest kind of win for Vitality ever. If they can actually take a fight before the first Baron. And they managed to do it in this game here. Mini Trupex looking to carry the next team fight. H2K looking to try and kill him again. They've actually successfully killed one of the carries the last 2 fights.
Selfie takes a lot of damage just for poking his head in the middle of that team. Has to be careful. Check out the ult flashes. He needs to find one now if they want to turn it, but he just takes so much poke back when you're trying to approach. Sheriff mostly untouched. They do manage to hit onto H2K. Not going to be able to grab those. He flushes back. This is the fight that they need. Maybe they can get it. Sheriff still alive. Wants to hit a few more members. Can they turn this back? H2K has taken down Spinny J. Mini True Pack.
Selfie's dead.
Still alive.
Selfie jumped right in and died again. Vitality 4 members alive. They got the 2 carries. Mini Trupex.
Sheriff, the only source of damage. The knockup combo stops Shook in his tracks. Unstoppable, but they take him down.
They got it. They got it.
Moving in for the win. Sheriff just does not have enough life left. Tries to take down Mini True Packs. Deficio, this is it. Vitality, a grueling 5-game series, but with 2 inhibitors down, the base wide open. They've got their eyes set on the prize. They're feeling good. They're cheering on the stage, and 3 rookies, the lineup of Vitality, prove themselves worthy of the top 4 in the EU LCS.
The biggest win in Vitality history, and they're dude with a bunch of rookies, a veteran in the top lane, and God Gilius himself.
Moving forward to face Fnatic, backing up all the trash talk, shutting down all the doubters.
This series, it had it all. Insane back and forths, bunch of early games for Vitality. This last game here was so close up until the 20-minute mark. It was back and forth, dead even in gold, but then Vitality started winning fight after fight. Whenever H2K tried to jump in, they lost. Mini Trubex picked up all the kills. The first Baron goes straight to Vitality, and when they get that Baron, they are decisive. They get the inhib, they get a massive goal lead for themselves, and they were able to now close out this game. A huge win for Vitality, and a great series overall. So much back and forth.
Just when it came down to it, the moment the pressure was on, they managed to keep it together. And the Trundle pick, rearing its head once again in the ULCS playoffs, showing the power that it can have in disrupting these fights.
Undefeated in playoffs so far, the good old Trundle Jungle.
3-0, I believe.
Yes, sir.
And of course, you have to praise Mini True Packs and H2K for playing well, for doing what they could to disrupt the fights, but also the 3 tanks. The Pillar coming in from Gilius, the knock-up on the Decimating Smash, the beautiful Unbreakables coming in from Braum to stop the Ornn engages. They played so well around the team comp that H2K put together.
Jaxel blocked absolutely everything with this Braum. But Mini Trubex, it feels so good for him. We always talk about the other AD carry. It's about Upset in the start, then it's about Sheriff for this series, but it ends up being about Mini Trubex in the end. They put a lot of focus on him in the draft. They kept playing towards the bottom side in the first few games. It was successful. They got ahead in the early game, and then they put him on this Tristana.
And look, you want people to talk about you? Take everybody else out. Upset is gone. Sheriff is out of playoffs. All that's left for rookie 80 carries is
It's
mini
true.
true packs, baby. Of course, we've narrowed it down to Gilius, Jizuki, and mini true packs in the contest for Player of the Series. So head over to @LO Esports on Twitter. You guys can vote for your pick. It's actually really, really hard to decide.
It is, but my mind is already jumping straight to the semifinals now. G2 Splice, that's insane, that's on Friday. And then Vitality versus Fnatic. I will remind you, Reckless on post-game lobby said the only team he's afraid of the current ones left in playoffs, Vitality.
It's going to be exciting. Well, in tonight's edition of the EU LCS post-game lobby, we'll talk to some of the winners, look forward to the semifinals and more on twitch.tv/Riot Games. It is time for the NALCS countdown ahead of their first quarterfinal between Team Liquid and Cloud9. Here in Berlin, we're ready to kick off the EU LCS post-game lobby. Be sure to join us. We'll see you on twitch.tv/EU LCS.
If you had it all, would you look the fall in the eye? Or would you walk away this time? Do you realize, do you recognize it's never over? Or would you walk away this time? 'Cause we all face the fire as we search for the light in the dead of the night. Will we rise above the days to come? Will it be enough? Or will we walk away this time? Look to your left, to your right, there by your side. 'Cause we all face the fire as we search for the light in the dead of the night. Can you feel this? You found shade. Only yourselves are here again.
Hello everyone, welcome to the ELCS post-game lobby after the first week of the playoffs. I'm Shox, joined by Cold, but fear not, we will be joined by both the Fishio and Gilius throughout this post-game lobby, but they're making their way from the stage down here after what was an incredible series. Cold, Vitality in the end came out on top, a thrilling 5-game series. Unbelievable, one of the most exciting series we've seen in a while.
Definitely, and one of the most close series we've seen in a while. What a series. I think this is kind of the series I was looking for when I initially saw the matchup, and I think this series was just so back and forth, and it was really hard to see who would come out ahead. But I think from what I've seen in the first couple of games, I'm happy that Vitality actually won the series because I think they have a better shot at challenging Fnatic in the semis.
Well, we'll talk a bit about that later, but can you tell me what it came down to in the end? In that final game, what was the winning factor for Vitality?
It seemed like both teams just want to brawl it out at the end,
Yeah.
like fights back and forth all the time. But I think the kind of unsung hero in the series overall was actually Gilius, because I felt like he was the guy that actually had the upper hand in terms of the jungle matchup throughout the series. Not in like specific games, but throughout. I felt
In
like
the early game specifically.
he was just outperforming Sugar in majority of the games, and I think he was a huge part of why Vitality won today.
Yeah, in the meantime, the Fishos join us as well. Can you
Hi,
tell
guys.
us what did it come down to in Game 5?
Ooh, what did it come down to? I think
One team had Ashe, and another team
Yeah,
had
what was
Tristana.
up with that
that's
Ash?
true. That one surprised me, for sure. I definitely didn't expect the last pick and ban phase from H2K. I don't think that's the reason they lost.
No.
They, like, going to 20 minutes, it was dead even. And I was like, okay, this is going to go late game again. It's going to be a lot of play around Baron. We don't know if Vitality can execute there. But then it kind of felt like H2K got so greedy for fights that, like, the Dragon fight they jump into is like they don't have Selfie coming down in time. They end up having to engage from one side with Smitty J, and then suddenly everything's just kind of messed up, and Mini2Pax is just sitting there being like bam, 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 bam,
Well,
bam.
Mini2Pax in that was also the player of the series in the end, and I feel like he snuck up in that last game because he was always there, he's always doing his job, but it is in that last game on Tristana that he really just brought it home when he had to. 40% of the votes for him, so nice closure for the Portuguese pony.
I've been happy for him. We talked a lot about the other AD carry today,
Yeah.
but
Only.
he shut us up, you know. So I think he is a player that relies a lot on confidence, and I think he got a lot of confidence today. And I'm excited to see how he's going to do against Fnatic.
And it's so fantastic to watch, you know, the player cams and then also seeing the Vitality players after they win, because they are this emotional team. So when they are doing well and they get the big wins, you just see them go crazy. And that kind of momentum is so huge. Also, I think for a guy like Mini2Pax, who really wants to show everyone that he should be the AD carry you talk about every
I think
time.
he's very happy. I'm going to cut you off because we have H2K and Mini2Pax standing by for a winner interview with Medic, so take it away.
Thank you very much, Shox. I am joined by Mini2Pax and H2K. Congratulations on your win. Coming into that series, I think a lot of people would have said that you should have won it a bit quicker, maybe in 3 games, maybe in 4. Did you guys expect it to go all the way to 5?
Yeah, this is scripted. We always go to game 5, so the rookie team gets more experience because we have to play Fnatic.
Okay, that makes a lot of sense. So you're saying you're not good enough at the moment to play Fnatic and you need more games on the stage.
I'm saying we're not experienced enough. Like, obviously they played some good games, but I feel like we could have ended way more games than what we did. Like, for example, second game we were always ahead. Only in the 4th game that we entered a bit bot lane, but besides that we were always ahead early game and we could have finished.
Well, they're definitely entertaining games to watch, to say the least. H2K, that mid lane battle seems to go one way and the other. Sometimes Selfie would have the upper hand, sometimes you would have the upper hand. What do you think defined which one of you would come out on top in the end?
I mean, I think I had the upper end 4 out of 5 games. So, I don't know. Like, only the Vladimir game, we had the mid-prio contested. The other 4 games had the mid-prio all game and I was roaming. So, I don't know. I think I won pretty hard.
Okay, because you're playing up against Caps next week as well. Do you think you can have the same performance against him, or is it going to be harder than against Selfie?
Caps?
Yeah, it'll be Caps.
I mean, of course it's going to be harder. His whole playstyle is on mechanics, and my playstyle is on mechanics as well. And I have a lot of fun when we scream each other, because we just, you know, just rely on mechanics, and whoever gets mid-prio snowballs the game. So I like playing against Caps. I'm looking forward to it.
Okay, it's going to be a good semi-final. Mini2Pax, you'll be up against Reckless in the lane. Now, there's been a lot of talk about who the best, you know, rookie AD carry is in Europe. People have talked about Sheriff, people have talked about Upset. You're the only one left standing. And Reckless has said in the Euphoria podcast that he's actually scared of playing against you because when he plays against you in solo queue, he learns a lot. Do you think that you can get the upper hand in that matchup against who many people think is the best AD carry in Europe?
I mean, it will be silly that I say that I will win easy, right? But I guess that if I just take it easy on myself, that if I don't let the pressure go into me, if I have this experience on best of 5s, I think I can actually match some games. And actually, we had 2 games against Fnatic in regular split, and we did really well against them. It's still hard, of course, but I think we can do fine, more than fine.
Okay, so with a week to prepare, that's my final question, guys. You're playing up against Fnatic. What do you think your chances are of getting all the way to the finals in Copenhagen? Do you think you can take down Fnatic? First to you and then to you.
It's always 50-50, but I will say that it's going to be a long series because I think our team is actually the best team early game. I think like even in the regular split when Fnatic were like at a high level, we snowballed early game. So I think our team is really good early game, and we just are like, you know, those little 5 kids that really want to play under our rookies, and they're like, oh, all right, let's go Nashor. Hey, no preparation, you know. So we normally throw there, but when we don't throw, we actually play really good League of Legends because we always manage to get early advantages. So I think if we actually snowball early game, even though they have more experienced players, we can perfectly win. And I'll say like it's going to be a long series for sure. And I don't know, probably 3-2.
H2K, what are your thoughts about the matchup?
I agree with Mini. We're really good early game, and the 2 games that we played against Fnatic, we won both early games really hard, and we only lost the second game because they had more experience than us, and they were like, they play mid-late game really good. They were trapping, using pressure from nowhere, stuff like this. But I think it should have been a 2-0 in the regular split. And I think if we win early and snowball properly, not throwing, playing our game, I think we can win as much as they can win. They have really good laners Like playing against Caps is not playing like I don't know whoever you know. Like like it will be a bit harder to get advantage in mid, and bot lane they have one of the best bot lanes in the LCS. Top is same, jungle is same. So I think if we can win early and they can play really good as well, so it will be 50-50.
All right, well, it's going to be a great series to watch. Congratulations again on your win today, guys. Taking it all the way to 5 games really got my heart pounding. So well done. We'll see you in the semi-finals next week, and we'll see you in Copenhagen, whether it be the 3rd place match or the finals. Congratulations on that as well. We're going to hand it back across towards the post-game lobby. Shox, take it away.
Thank you very much. Wonderful interview, both guys. Super, super happy. And another happy member of Victorious Vitality, God Gilius himself. Congratulations, man. That was an incredible series to watch.
Yeah.
Probably stressful to play. How do you feel about closing it out in the end?
It was a roller coaster, I would say. After game 1, we were really happy and excited. After game 2, we just wanted the series to end ASAP. And yeah, in the end, I'm really happy.
What was the hardest? Was it after game 2 that you felt the deepest and was the hardest to come back from?
Yeah, game 2, I just felt like it was such a free win, and then we just mess up so hard in the mid game, and I think some players in the team showed a lot of frustration, which also got to me. So we just talked about it, don't show emotions in game, and just move on, and then, yeah, we bounce back.
Do you think you killed a lot of your demons because you had the Baron shenanigans in game 2 as well, but then you overcame it? Yeah. You had some emotions, but you overcame it. You came back from a game down and match point. It feels like you made a lot of progress in the series.
Not too much. But yeah, the 50-50 smite definitely felt good.
What's going on with your Barons?
Some Trundle practice going. So.
Yeah. There you go, good Trundle.
We gotta ask, what's going on with your Barons?
With my Barons?
Yeah.
It's actually today, again, I didn't even look at the amount of damage smite does. I actually just go with the flow, you know? Like, I don't know.
I think we figured out why.
That might be an issue. To be fair, I think the Baron steal that happened that was game 2, right?
Game 3 I stole it, I think.
In game 3 you got it, and then when they stole it in game 2, technically you guys had already called to back away, and then Jizuka keeps hitting the Baron, and then I think Shook got in.
But it was such a psychopath move from Shook.
Yeah.
He goes over and punches the Nash 1v5.
Yeah.
I didn't expect
a few
that.
times.
Yeah.
It worked once, and it definitely backfired in game 2.
Shook was
game
feeling
3.
it. What do you think, if you look at the 5 games, did it come down to? Why did you win today?
Just overall, I think the champions we play are better. Like they have really a low amount of weapons in their drafts. They're really predictable in what bans they do and what they pick. So yeah, I think champion pool-wise we were ahead of them, and just early games were always in our favor. So we have the better mid laner and better jungler. So.
There we go.
I actually agree a lot with Gilius that it felt to me like it was more Vitality to actually lose the game than H2K to win it. And then I think, to be honest, the jungle matchup was just so favored for Gilius. Like I felt like Shook was just not doing anything in the games. Like he could have done way more in my opinion. But it seemed like you had the overhand. I don't know how it felt in game, but it probably felt that way. Just judging from how it looked.
Yeah, I felt that way,
Yeah, it doesn't want to say too much yet. We're just getting started. Let's take a look at the bracket, because Vitality, they're moving on to the semifinals, where they're facing Fnatic. Unfortunate for H2K, they fought like lions over the entire split. Vifisho, and then in this best of 5, but this is where the road ends for them.
Yeah, I think sadly for them, they're gonna be very happy they made playoffs after being 1-7, but they're gonna be very unhappy after this series, because a lot of things that happened in-game were extremely questionable calls on their side that ended up losing them when they actually had finally managed to get back in certain games, like game 3. The whole play around Baron there, where they Shook ends up like all-inning for it, instead of just backing away and actually just waiting for the next team fight.
I think the bigger disappointment there for me was that Smitty J was in the pit for like 15 seconds.
That's another one.
Took 3 damage, and they couldn't team fight after, where they're actually stronger in the team fight. They can just take the fight, but they're just chilling in the pit, taking 3 damage. And that was really questionable.
There's going to be a lot of regrettable moments for them where it felt like they were a little bit too eager. And Vitality, when we got those kind of fights, felt much more in control. Also in the last game, which was the big swing. Like, it all starts at that dragon fight. They win it with 3 kills after actually just being even at that point. And after then, Shook tries to defend his mid lane turret, and hoping he gets devoured, but he jumps too far away from his Tom Kench.
Those little things.
They kill him, and suddenly Vitality do not have to play around Baron like we normally see. They don't have to risk losing a Baron, and they can actually get it for free, and then they're really good with it. So those were like small moments in a game that ended up being huge for the last game.
So overall, we can say that Vitality was better at keeping their cool in the important moments.
Definitely felt like that.
Okay. Gilius, before we move on, these two guys had no faith in you yesterday in the post-game
actually.
lobby. Is there anything you just want to get off your chest?
This is your time to roast us.
I was really angry yesterday, actually, watching the
Post-game lobby.
the post-game lobby. Like when I hear that Kazing is saying that their bot lane is also better than ours, and then
You put it all on Kasing now.
no, like overall that everyone just doubted us. And I mean, today we kind of proved your point that we're not that good because we dropped 2 games. But in the end, it should. I expected a 3-0. That's why I was so mad yesterday. But now I'm not that mad.
Okay.
There we go. Almost a 3-2.
Yeah.
Just on the other
So
side.
he was so mad that he played worse, which made it into 5 games.
So it's actually
but he
our
did it once.
fault.
Yeah, it's your fault. Okay.
Thanks, guys.
All right,
Sorry.
but you still made it into the semifinal, which is huge. Let's take a look at both semifinals. Let's start with G2 versus Splice. Splice, fantastic effort over Roccat yesterday, looking incredibly clean. So Gilius, I want to ask you first, what do you think of this matchup? Is this a close one, G2 versus Splice?
Oh yeah, really close actually. I really don't know who's gonna win it. So, but I think we should not overestimate Splice from yesterday. I think Roccat was in a big slump coming into playoffs. Just from practicing against them, I know it. So yeah, G2 in best of 5s. That's also an interesting one. We have never seen this squad in a BO5. So yeah, I'm not sure.
What do you make of Xerxes versus Jankos, the best performing jungler now versus Jankos, who's also been pretty good?
Yeah, Jankos tends to choke when it matters, so that might come back. Xerxes is looking fantastic at the moment, so yeah, I think Xerxes has the upper hand.
I think the Jankos choking one is kind of outdated a little bit. I actually
He
feel
didn't do it last year. At
I
least.
feel like last year he was actually playing completely fine in playoffs and when games matter. So I think he developed in terms of like experience. So I don't think that's a problem at all. The one guy I'm looking at is Perks. I think he is a guy who he's always showing up in the big games. I think he always performs well when it matters. That's why a lot of people call him one of the great players we have here in Europe. And I'm looking a lot on him to be able to pull it for G2.
Well, the question is then, you have a Perks on G2 with all the squad around them, but on Splice, you have a Kobe who's been in many of those situations. You have an Odoamne who's been around the world and back and played everywhere. You have a Kasing who has a decent amount of experience as well. So it might be a non-factor, the experience on stage.
Yeah, I mean, the experience is going to be even between them. Obviously, on the side of Splice, it's not like their players have made a ton of finals and lifted a ton of trophies. And
They made the final.
I mean, they made a final
went
and then
to
they
Worlds.
lost, you know, and then they went to Worlds and they lost. I'm just saying, like, Kobe in itself, yes, he does have experience in playoffs, but it's not like he has shown a clutch factor or something that we've seen from other AD carries. I think with G2, obviously Perks have been there multiple times now, but the other 4 members not been the same. Either Jankos or Odoamne will make the final, and either one of them will have a chance to lift the trophy, even though they're going to be most likely, against Fnatic, which could be the tough one. But let's see what happens in that other semifinal first.
Yeah, we'll see. I feel like we ask this every split. Is this G2? Is this the most beatable G2 we've seen so far? I mean, and here you got to say it again, right?
Yeah, for sure.
Just because how strong Splice look and how, not that G2 was looking really good in that tiebreaker game. This is the rematch of that, by the way. But you don't feel like they're on their top form.
I mean, in the past they had Sven and Miffy, and we have to like talk about them because they were so crucial and they're prepped for the best of 5s and how they control the pace. They always show up in big games, and I think this way around is going to be a weaker G2. But I still think against Splice it should be a game where it can really go either way, and it's about the players stepping up when it matters.
I also think it's a G2, despite having a weaker bot lane, will have a stronger top lane. And
wonder.
I think we have seen in this top lane meta, you can either go tanks, like some teams like to do, or you can do what, let's say, Odoamne tried to do yesterday, or what Smitty J did in the first 2 games. Like, you lock in things like Camille, you lock in different carry tops, and you can try and play around the lane, and it can be very effective. It will be the go-to strategy for G2, from what we have seen all split long. And I really want to see Odoamne Wonder specifically. Could become one of the most important matchups, or they both get dog champs, and then it's all about the mid and bot lane in this best of 5.
We'll see. Wonder is another one of your ex-teammates. Are you impressed by kind of his development? Because he's always been a good top laner, but I feel like never really is dominating straight up as the split.
Yeah, so I always knew he was a very good player, just based off the knowledge he has. And he is always a guy that is very vocal about what he wants to happen in-game. And that was also why, when we played on Splice back in the day, when I played on the team back in the day, we played a lot around him. And we did that for a reason, because we knew that if we give him the ability to snowball, he can take over games. And so I always knew he was a good player. I think the environment we had in the Splice team back then was just not very good for us playing well as a team, because we actually, in my opinion, didn't have that much knowledge about how to play the game. So yeah, I always knew he was good, but not at the level he's playing at right now.
Yeah, very interesting semi-final. Anything you guys want to add about Splice versus G2, or do you want to move on?
5 games.
5 games, please. We're in the mood now for it, so let's keep it going. And then our second semi-final. Fnatic versus Vitality. So Vitality just won 5 games. Fnatic has had a week to look at Vitality, to look at all the possible opponents coming into this one, and find themselves on Saturday versus Vitality in that best of 5. Gilius, first thoughts going into that match. Is Fnatic, how much better than Vitality is Fnatic?
I'm not scared at all, actually. Whenever we face Fnatic, we match up really well against them. I think the jungle difference overwhelms them every single time. Yeah, I think
Can you go into
Mini-Trupax,
specifics about the jungle matchup?
I mean, Broxah, whenever I face this guy, even if it's solo queue or scrims, he falls short, and it's gonna happen again. So I know that he's like shaking in his boots right now, sitting on the sofa watching this, and next week we will beat them, yeah?
Here's the good thing for Broxah, though. Even if he's scared, he just looks to his right and he sees Reckless. He looks to his left and he sees Caps, and he's probably pretty calm now. Then he sees Vitality Barons, and he's like, we're definitely getting to late game. And then you have Caps and Reckless, and that has been the best late game so far we've seen from any team in the EU LCS. I think if Vitality over this week can actually clean up that mid game, and especially around Baron, they're going to have a good chance, because they can win the early games. We've seen that multiple times. They can shut down a mid laner for sure. They just cannot afford to lose it at Baron then.
The biggest problem I see for Vitality is the fact that today I felt like they were not really getting challenged in the early game, only the game 4 specifically. But I think Fnatic as a team has developed in terms of showing more early game comps, especially with the Talia and stuff like this. So I'm a bit worried if Fnatic is going to start taking over the early game, how Vitality is going to react to this in the mid game. Because today you guys looked a little bit lost in the fourth game when you fell behind. So a lot of interesting matchup. I think early game is going to be super crucial in this matchup.
Yeah, I agree. And I feel like it might not be one team or the other getting ahead, but it might just be very close and a lot of brawls in the early game, or just very calm, which makes you go into the mid game on an even token. And then I'm inclined to say the quality of Reckless, of Caps, is just through the roof. Let's start with the mid lane. Do we think that H2K can match Caps in a game like this?
Yes.
What are the similarities and where are the strong points for each or the other?
I think they're mechanically very gifted, both players. They also understand when they can play aggressive most of the time. Caps have shown a little bit of a weakness there if the enemy jungler is around him a lot. I think he's gotten better at least at that, and actually the only team who's really successfully shut him down, Gilius and Vitality. So that's going to be super interesting to follow, because the mid jungle synergy for Fnatic is not good, and it's not going to be 1v1 mid, it's going to be 2v1 most of the time, and that advantage I give to Vitality.
Vitality in the bottom lane, Mini-Trupax versus Reckless. Reckless playing out of his mind. Mini-Trupax, very steady player so far for Vitality as well. And when you talk about emotion and reaction to games, I feel like Mini-Trupax is one of the guys that really has his heart and soul in every single game. How has he done in this best of 5, and how do you think his emotions will do in that best of 5?
I don't know. It's hard for me, actually. Like in practice, he's an ice cold guy. He doesn't really. He's always focusing on just improving. Doesn't care about win or lose. But when we go on stage, the emotions really get to him. I don't know. I think he had a great series today. He played really well. He's always a player that we can rely on to carry in the late games. And yeah, he showed up.
I was also pleasantly surprised by Jack Troll today. His Thresh in the first 2 games got banned out afterwards. His Leona was
he's quite the Thresh one trick at some point. So
If
he doesn't show a good play on this champion, then I don't know which champion he would do it on. So
we'll see. So then it comes to predictions for this one, and I want to turn this into a bit of a 1v1 me bro. That means Gilius and Cold. You get 30 seconds to tell me why your team is going to win. And I know that Cold is going to go for Fnatic and that Gilius, of course, is going to go for Vitality.
I pretty much have the easiest job in my life.
To say why Fnatic is going to win. I think we're going to get a clock up on this in just a second. So are you ready, Cold? I'm going to ring the bell, and then you get 30 seconds to tell me why Fnatic is going to win.
Yeah.
All right, 3, 2, 1.
So for me, this is the easiest segment of the day. There's one guy on Fnatic that I think will carry the game. His name is Reckless, and he's not on the other side. So for me, it's super easy that if Vitality doesn't get an early lead, then I think there's just no way out of it. So it's going to be easy 3-0 for Fnatic.
There we go.
With time left as well.
Oh, basically, you just said Reckless.
Yeah, I guess keeping it simple is just saying
I
Reckless.
don't have to say much more.
Well, we'll see if that comes through. Gilius, are you prepared? Do you want to tell us why
yeah.
Vitality is going to
sure.
win? All righty. So 3, 2, 1.
All right.
Okay, go ahead.
I think in this matchup, Fnatic versus Vitality, the big difference is that one team has Gilius in the jungle and one team has Broxah. I think the early pressure that Gilius is going to put into this game is going to overwhelm Fnatic. They will be pushed in 3 lanes, and we have seen us destroying them in the early game. In the 2 games we faced them, we will make our mid and late game better, our play around Nash, and we will 3-0 them.
Alrighty, with 4 seconds left on the clock. So it was very much about Reckless for Cold. It was very much about the jungle matchup from Gilius. The Fisho, who do you think won that argument?
I think Gilius' delivery was pretty spot on right there. He got me slightly convinced, and you can't really argue with the facts. There's only Gilius on one team, but also only Reckless on one team. So
That's true.
I'm in the middle. I'm taking the Caps prediction, 3-3 is what it's going to be. And then we just see whatever, we just roll the dice or something and
Roll
see
the
where it
dice.
gets to.
Actually,
the final.
it's going to be a special moment for Reckless. Like, he's going to get his MVP award before he goes into the 3rd place match in Copenhagen. So it's going to be like... it happened before. So.
Yeah, it's true.
brutal, man.
Just like last year.
That is brutal. Of course, we all know how tough it was for Reckless to in summer for him. So, but it's going to be up to them to prove you wrong, I guess, and it's going to be up to you guys to shut up the haters. It wasn't nice today to just kind of shut up these 2 haters and shut up everyone on Twitter.
I wish we would have done it in a more convincing fashion. 3-0, just sweep them, laugh in your faces. But now I don't really feel like we proved anything, so I'm looking forward to prove something next week.
I think anyone who predicted 5 games, either way, ended up being the winner.
Wait, you did that as well?
Yeah, also 5 games.
Oh, yeah,
I
did
don't
that
want
as
to talk
well.
about
For
it.
H2K. But still, it was 5 games.
Alrighty, so let's take a look at the big plays from this weekend. We had 5 games today, 3 games yesterday, so a lot of big plays to pick from. Let's see which ones you guys sent in, brought to you by Acer Predator. Now, first up, after struggling in the spring split, Niski really stepped up in our first quarterfinal. His Kassadin in Game 1 versus Roccat was, as at Kikis1205 said it, disgusting. Someone make Kassadin sounds?
Whatever he says. Hit him with a sword.
Yeah, something.
The series was really...
Yeah.
There was some crazy
like it.
outplay right there.
Crazy.
Did
Crazy
you
outplay.
watch that
We
outplay?
probably could have picked a few team fights where he killed some people.
I think a couple of things are going wrong, but the fact was, Niski, he kicked ass on that Kassadin, and
Yes, he
Splice
did.
find himself in the semifinals. So let's move on to our next big play from tonight's dramatic series. We had our eyes on the rookies, and one that stepped up was Vitality support Jack Troll. Let's check out this game-changing Thresh hook in Game 1. And we can comment on it, actually. Does anyone want to do the play-by-play?
Oh, this was the one
He
where...
walks forward.
There he goes.
He lands the
hooks
hook,
it. The
and he
Black
takes
Shield,
it.
he still goes in, and he pulls in mini troop packs, and he makes the play.
Also important to note, he had another big one later in this one where he also caught Sherry.
I feel like this is just a Gilius highlight of how to use the Trundle pillar.
And of course, Talia
Really
rolling
hard
in
skill
on
shot.
her stone
Did you
and making it
practice
happen.
the Trundle E in some mode. You can practice it.
I practice it a lot actually. It's a hard one to hit. Yeah.
So
Yeah.
I wanted to ask you this. Was this all just a ruse? You went on Twitter and you were like, oh, Trundle Jungle, what the hell, blah, blah, blah.
Yeah.
But you had been practicing it for forever?
I had been practicing it, and I just thought it's funny if I just act like it's a troll pick, and then I
Nobody
told the
expected
guy in the comments I'm gonna pick it tomorrow.
Yes.
It's like okay.
Someone found it. That was actually hilarious.
Yeah.
All right. Well, one other big play from today, H2K and Shook, they were looking to bounce back after losing game 1. And the veteran jungler Shook, he put the team
Oh,
on
no,
his
you can't
back
show this
as
with
he secured a
here.
monumental Baron steal. Let's go.
Wait, let me see it.
Alrighty. Commentary from Gilius
I
live.
hate these 50-50.
Isn't the call here to just back away? Only
Yeah.
if stays in.
But look at this psychopath, man. Flash is over. What is this?
You knew you could take the 50-50, baby.
But I respect this. This is some fucking balls, man.
I felt like he had the mental edge around the Baron today.
He did.
Did you feel the
Problem
same?
was, Gilius knew this would actually make Shook so confident that in game 3, when it came down to it, Shook would go for another one of these plays, and then it backfired. He took the Baron, won the game, and that ended up being huge.
But on the one we just showed, I didn't even have my finger on Smite.
Oh.
It seems like you were going away. Even.
Yeah, I don't know.
And the call was clearly to back away.
I just didn't want the 50-50. But he forced it, so
Yeah.
I should have probably clicked Smite.
That's your team's fault, for sure, right?
Yasuke actually kept hitting
don't
it,
know.
and he shouldn't have kept hitting it.
Yeah.
Yeah, I mean, it's always that's what's interesting for me, at least, around the Baron area, especially because I feel like if you set yourself up to give the opponent a 50-50 smite, then something must have went wrong in the setup, and then it's obviously going to come down to like the jungler being clutch in the 50-50. But what is more important is to look back and see what the mistakes you did in the setup, and I think you missed some of the wards you didn't sweep correctly, and that is probably what is important for Vitality looking forward for the semifinal,
Well,
to make sure you do the right setup.
It's like in this game we lost a lot of patience because like Camille started to hit the in-up tower and Cabo was getting stressed out in the bot lane, and then we just had to force something, so we thought just force Nash. So yeah, and then we just banned Camille the rest of the series.
Yeah, no problem there. Just
Yeah.
ban it away. Cool. Well, let's take a look at what's in store next week. G2 versus Splice, our first semifinal on Friday, followed by Fnatic versus Vitality the day after. The first game will start on Friday at 6 p.m. and the first game on Saturday will start at 5 p.m. No matter what happened, unfortunately, Rocket and H2K are out, but I am personally very happy with the setup of these semifinals. It looks like it's the most competitive matchups we could have gotten.
Yeah, and I think just generally like 4 teams who's been fighting for the top spots all split long, ends up then facing each other here in the playoffs. So I don't think it actually could be any more exciting. Also, no matter what happens in a third place or final game, I think we're going to have a super hype matchup between these 4 teams, and that's going to be pretty crazy.
Yeah, and all these 4 teams will be in Copenhagen, be it to fight on Saturday for the third place match or to fight in the finals for the cup, which is what everyone is going for.
Yeah, I mean, I would have loved to have played in Copenhagen, obviously, myself. I think this could have been
You're the analyst.
Yeah,
desk.
you get to be on the desk
You're
with
still there.
Fragen.
second best.
You're still
But
there.
As a player, especially, I think for a guy like Gilius as well, this is just a huge opportunity to play in front of so many people. And I've done it before. I know it's like the best feeling ever, walking on that stage and people cheer for you. So slightly jealous, but yeah.
Also, you get to play in a country with probably the most beautiful fans ever. That is another
Probably
great
also
honor.
one of the best countries in the world.
Probably the greatest country in the world. So the fact you get to travel there as a pro player, you get to experience the city, the people, the venue, that's a unique experience. Like, I think a lot of players around the world are very jealous of the fact that Gilius gets to play in Denmark.
Gilius.
The third place match is actually pretty impactful because the winner goes to Rift Rivals, right?
Oh, yeah.
Maybe.
I think so.
So it's
1,
actually
2, 3. He might be onto something
yeah, I
here.
think you're onto something.
So it's
Plus, the
actually
points for Worlds could also be important.
Yes, well, that's what we're
Yeah.
always thinking about as well.
So
It
you should
might
probably
not
start
feel...
preparing for that match, right?
Well, you should prepare for it regardless, because as said, you will be playing in front of thousands and thousands of players, and you don't just want to feed on stage. But as said, possibly for Rift Rivals, also for the end of the year, because I imagine, even though it seems far away now, Worlds is definitely a goal
Yeah.
for Vitality. So
Surely, yeah.
we'll see.
And I feel like every single year we have at least one team going, by actually getting a lot of points in spring. And then, of course, they add up with the summer one. So spring split always ends up meaning more than a lot of the people actually expect.
Yeah. Alrighty, well, we've done our part in hyping up the third place match, and over in the NALCS, their first quarterfinal between Team Liquid and Cloud9, it has already started, so if you missed, actually, jump over to twitch.tv/Riot Games if you want to see that, and
3-0
next
Team Liquid.
week, excuse me?
3-0 Team Liquid.
3-0 Team Liquid, according to the Fisho. He just spoiled it all for you, but that's
No
for
way,
us.
dude.
Time for us to sign off here from Berlin. It's been a long day. It's been some amazing games. Meet us back here for the semifinals next week. Have a great night.
Sheriff locked behind the pillar. Immediately they're going to take him down. Kill this guy, man. Maybe looking for one more here. H2K runs it in and takes him out. Owen Flash comes in, but it's a little bit late. He's already used the ultimate hook. Does back immediately. They delete Sheriff right back. The Olaf goes to the middle of the team. He's taken down. Nice. I go. Kill you. End of the game. Nice. Get out. No. I'm not taking this. Very nice. He's from Olaf. You fucking we've seen so many Orion and Steel Barons in Europe. Is this another one to follow down? Flash over from Joker. They want to clean this one up. Can they actually get it? Nice. Get out. Good.
Why is it so hard, man? Not hard, dude.
Through the Baron. Jack Troll as well. Body block comes in. They are going to be able to get it. Cabo goes down too. H2K, this is exactly what they wanted.
It's fine, guys. Yeah, we skipped some steps there.
You don't want to take the chance again. Wait, he's going for it. Baron wants to run it down. Can he get it? Gillies, this is your chance for redemption. Who's going to get it? Who's going to get the spot? Gillies brings it home. Goodbye, man. Drew back